Good evening, everyone. Monday night means only one thing. The Online Darts Live Lounge is here, episode 254. Myself, Phil Bars, and Dan Simpson are going to spend the next couple of hours guiding you through absolutely everything over the last week, and there are plenty of talking points. Dan, how are we doing, buddy?
All right, mate. I'm all right. Pretty good, to be honest. I feel like I'm getting into the World Cup. I've got to be honest. I did hope that our bracket was about to get a little bit easier. I thought we might be. I fancied a little run, but Mexico or Ecuador, followed by Japan or Norway. Like, I don't. That's not a bad run to the semis, is it? But yeah, all is well. I think I had a pretty busy weekend. I had a drink for the first time since Easter. Regretted that very quickly. I've heard tale of people reaching my age and starting to talk about 2-day hangovers. But yeah, I managed to give myself a 2-day hangover. I'm not sure it's finished yet. It's still lingering slightly. But you've probably got more of a tale to tell. You've been globe trotting, traveling the world, and catching up with. Do you know? It looked like. So I know that you do an awful lot of traveling for darts things, and let's be honest, it's not as glamorous as some people think, is it, Philip? Like, sometimes you drive for 7 hours to sit in a porter cabin and run around doing bits and pieces, and then drive 7 hours back. But it looks like you've had a nice little trip over the pond, by the looks of things.
It's been very, very nice. Look, New York is just the most incredible city, as everyone knows, which we'll come on to. Got some goodies, obviously some nice cups for you and the team, which I will deliver in a couple of weeks' time. Yeah, no, it was good. Loads to talk about in terms of New York. Lots of topical talking points as well, good and bad, coming out of the States and the last week or so, which is good for the sport. It's been good. Let's jump into the chat room quickly because it is absolutely rammed already. Kay, how are we doing? Gordo is in. Anthony is currently on a flight back to Austin. It was great to catch up with you as always, my friend. And Wu Hop, the greatest Chinese ever. And yes, we did overindulge in Chinese. Dal, how are we doing, buddy? Wayne is in. Rob, how we doing, buddy? Marcus is in. James, David, Mark, how we doing, mate? Fraser, good to have you in. Kieran, Daniel, Owen is in. Yes, the Buckers is in. How we doing, mate? In Central Park, chilling. Love that, my friend.
Hang on, I'm not having that though. Like, just before we get to everybody else, I'm going to have that one. First day off since we got here. Like, I've seen some photographs. I've seen people enjoying themselves in some pretty nice places. Day off is a push. I'm not sure I'm letting that slide through.
Kelly is in. How we doing, Fraser? Jet lag's all good, mate. I can't grumble. I am good. Shelty, how we doing? Warren is in. Bill, how we doing, mate? And of course, the one, the only. The world champ, the back-to-back champion of the world. How we doing, lad? Hope you are good. Good to catch up with you in New York as always, buddy. It is always 8 p.m. somewhere, lad, And he was in his element because he found a new card shop in New York. He was loving life.
Yeah, you're always gonna find some novelties over there. Central Park's not a bad spot for watching us. I think we need more people to shout up because we get people from all over the world. It's always fun when people shout which continent they're on and which country they're in. But people need to get a bit more creative about whereabouts they go to watch us. I like the idea of people going to, national parks and landmarks and sitting by things, listening to us talk crap about darts. It's a great concept.
Yeah, I 100%. It was good catching up with Luke and the family as well. Faith as well was in great form in New York. It was great catching up with you all. How we doing, baby? Hope you are good. Andy is in. Jimmy, how we doing, mate? Let's
must be nearly match play time.
Yeah, the match play is almost here. It's almost under 2 weeks until that pilgrimage to Blackpool begins. Let's jump straight in. Let's go to the States. Massive news dropped. Obviously, you knew it was coming because I told you. The ESPN deal for 5 tournaments is absolutely massive for the sport in the US. That is a proper breakthrough. And they're not just showing sessions here and there, they are showing every dart of every of those 5 tournaments. Now, that is a real breakthrough moment.
Yeah, it's huge for a big list of reasons, like a huge list of reasons. Big for the sport and big for the players as well. Like, we've talked loads about darts being on. Well, I always talk about darts being on free telly. Make it easy. Like, don't let me have to download 3 different apps and subscribe to this thing and subscribe to that thing. Like, I just want to be able to say, oh, it's on channel 3. It's on this. Like, it make it dead easy for people. So you want to be on a channel that virtually everybody who likes to watch sport has got. And in America, virtually everybody who likes to watch sport has got ESPN. So you're already in people's living rooms. You just need them to press the button and see it. The second thing, and this is what I'm sure some people will think have thought of this already. And if they haven't, then I know at least one person is watching who will benefit from this massively, is if you're a player and you are, I mean, let's be honest, what they do is they sell patches on their shit. You know, if you're going to sponsors and you're talking to people and you're talking to big names and you're talking to Xbox, you're talking to so-and-so, and you can go and say, well, you know, I'm on Sky Sports and I play in this tournament, that tournament, and your logo will be seen by these people in these places. When you are on ESPN in America, you have opened the door to a whole different marketplace, a whole different raft of people that you can then interact with and have sponsor you. So it's big for, like I say, loads of different reasons. It gets more people watching darts, creates more money within the system for players to earn and to go out and do sponsorship deals, and it keeps everybody on their toes, doesn't it?
Yeah, look, it's massive, and I love what they did in terms of how they promoted that deal, the crossover that obviously Luke was heavily involved with Ben Whitaker and the boxing side of it as well. It was really clever the way Matchroom and the PDC did the announcement, and obviously Eddie was there, who has been instrumental in this deal as well. It was really clever the way they knitted it all together over the 4 or 5 days. My
shirt, for the record, has got nothing to do with Donald Trump. It's a barbecue restaurant in Texas, and I'm sure Anthony's in. Mr. Eugenia, if you can back me up, because I'm pretty sure that you've frequented this barbecue spot more than once in Texas, Truth Barbecue. If you go there, get a T-shirt. They're pretty comfy. They're all right.
So yeah, it was really clever the way they knitted everything together. And look, the Peacock deal wasn't that bad, Marcus. Did it turn out as well as we'd hoped? Maybe not. But look, ESPN are a different ball game altogether. They are giants in sport in America. This is a huge moment for darts in North America in terms of a broadcast point of view, and it can only be applauded.
And it's, you know, again, it's huge for the game, but it's not just. I think sometimes we celebrate things that move the game forward, and we look at different things that have happened, and often really we look at it and it's sort of a celebration for the PDC and Matchroom, and those stakeholders are really the beneficiaries. But like, I genuinely believe this. It has a really, really positive effect on the wider sport. The other thing that you've got, and I'm sure that we'll see this going forward, is like, not only is ESPN the biggest possible platform for it to be on there in America, but on top of that is what ESPN have started to do a lot more is that like non-linear television or non-linear content as well. It's stuff that's on ESPN Plus. I know ESPN2. So it would not surprise me at all if we see, on those linear channels, you get the darts tournaments, and we know that that's going to be broadcast. But I think you're going to get an awful lot more of additional content. There's going to be a lot more passive viewing. You know how, like, the best way I would describe this is like a sort of like the pub effect of how darts bleeds into the general culture.
Yeah.
So every Thursday, right? Every Thursday, if you walk into a pub in Britain, like, there's darts on the telly, whether you're interested in darts or not, because it's on Sky Sports and it's just on in the pub. There are bars all over America, very, very similarly. They just have ESPN on. That's, you go into a sports bar in America and you've done it loads of, you walk in and ESPN is just on there, isn't it? And it doesn't really
100%.
matter. It doesn't matter what's on ESPN, but ESPN is just on in the sports bar. So the amount of people that, if you think of the sheer number of people that are in America, that you are going to get passively just taking darts in, seeing Luke Humphries, Luke Littler, Gerwyn Price, Michael Van Gogh, just starting to be familiar with those people and seeing them is like, you can't understate how big it is on that platform for the way that darts is going to start to drip into the consciousness in America. It's huge.
Also, as well, this could be the catalyst to more events in North America. Because if there is a proper TV deal in place, which this is, that could be the catalyst to start with another World Series event potentially. And then we go on, do we then potentially have a major? I know Warren asked in the chat room, do we see a major going to the States? Quite possibly, if this goes well. This is almost like when Sky Sports took the PDC in the UK for the first time. I feel it is that big a moment. It could be the real light bulb moment for the broadcasting of professional darts in North America.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me at all if I don't know. I suppose that the question that Warren put in was, do you see a ranking event being moved to the States? Now, the interesting word that I would sort of pull out of that, to be honest, Warren, is moved, because what I'm not sure about and what I think is possibly like what might be the thinking, or what I would be thinking, is not so much moving something, but creating something, whether new or bringing something back to life. Thinking of something that's long been gone and then bringing it back around over there. Like, I definitely think we will see. I mean, nothing surprises me in darts anymore. I wouldn't be surprised if we move the European Championships to the North America. Like, if the price is right, Phil, if the price is right, like,
everything has a price.
Why does the European Championship have to be in Europe? It doesn't, does it? Of course it doesn't. We can have it in America. Like, no, if the price is right, if there's a market for it, I think, and we'll come on to it a bit later because I don't want to gloss over it, but and I know there's a World Cup on. There's a lot of, there are a lot of Brits in the area. That venue was stacked. Like, it was busy and the atmosphere looked great. I've spoken to some people that were there in the room, not working, enjoying the festivities of it all. And it looks great. So, you can sell tickets over there. So we're going to see more, definitely.
Yeah, look, 100%. And Marcus, yes, no, sorry, it was Wayne. Yes, you did hear right. They have signed a new broadcast deal in North America on ESPN. It was announced just before the US starts Masters, which is superb. Dan, our trap's caught another one.
Have we?
This is nonsense.
Oh.
The fact he's had to subscribe to type that.
Well done, lad. Thanks for your subscription and like and subscribe. Tell you what, send your mum in to give us some stick and all. Get her subscribed. Yeah. Tell her to message the family WhatsApp chat and say that there's a ginger and a baldy bloke and they're terrible and they need some stick, and get the whole family subscribed so they can come and call me a knobhead. No. I'm here all night for it. 20 pence a comment.
Yeah, look, it'll be superb. How are we doing? Quinton in from South Africa. How are we doing, buddy? Anthony says ESPN2 coverage will be much bigger impact than ESPN Plus. Dan, we need darts to find the clicker. Yeah, 100%.
That's what I've said it. I still say in Great Britain, like where darts is more established than anywhere else. Like I still say, as darts grows, and people at work saying to me, "Hey, you know a bit about this darts? Like, where everyone's into it now. How can I watch it? I want to be able to say, I just stick this channel on. Like I don't like it's a night to say, oh well, if you've got a subscription to this, and if you have Paramount Plus, and if you have Discovery, well, in that I mean, if you have that app, you can watch half of it, and then the other half you've got to get on here and like no. Just make it simple. Let me be able to say it's on channel 17. There you go. Put it in there. Like, we feel to guide people to it.
So yeah, that was the first real big announcement from the US was the huge TV deal that was announced, and that is incredible. And kudos to everyone who's got that over the line. Now, as you say, there was a lot going on in the city of New York. And just for context, so people know, look, has the World Cup being there helped ticket sales? Yes, obviously. But before the games were even announced, who was playing who, they'd already sold more tickets than last year. So there was already an upward curve anyway. Look, has the World Cup and England and Germany being in New York spiked it even more? Yes, without doubt. But, oh my God, Madison Square Garden was absolutely rocking.
It looked wicked. And how it came across on the television, I thought it looked great, and I love the shape of that room because it looks a bit amphitheatre-esque. Obviously, you've got that nice floor area. It looks nicely set up, but then the way it wraps around and the slope on like the bleachers at the back, I think is like what a gorgeous room. Those lights in the ceiling are stunning. I just think it looks like there's a few shaped rooms, and we say for lots of different reasons, like they're perfect for darts. And I always talk about Leeds. That amphitheatre is perfect for me. If you could build a Premier League darts venue, if someone said build a venue in every city for Premier League darts, what should it be? How should it be laid out? What shape? You'd go, give me 17 of them. And I think that is it's like the perfect World Series shape and layout, isn't it? It ticks every box.
Yeah,
and that's without its just general iconicness as a venue. Just the way it's put together is lovely.
Wayne, it started last weekend with the US Masters, and the match play is the next one on ESPN. James, hold that thought, because I think next year, if everything happens that the locals are saying, it will be in the main arena at Madison Square Garden next year.
Oh.
And I'll tell you for why. There is a big refurb of Penn Station going to happen. For those that obviously know, Penn Station is under Madison Square Garden. And as part of the refit to Penn Station, the theatre is going to be going. The theatre will be lost as part of the development of Madison Square Garden and Penn Station. Ooh. So if that happens, and I was chatting to the people that work at MSG whilst I was there, and they seemed certain that the development is going to happen. So I'm guessing they've been told, they work there, that the darts will have to go into the main arena if it's to stay in MSG at New York.
I tell you what, Phil, if it does go into the main arena, sheer logistics alone, you're not going to be able to cover that for online darts solo. Especially in my 40th year of celebration, in what has become the 40th. I haven't got anything booked in for June. I think I've got some sort of celebration in for every. I've got I've got the 40th UK Open in March, and I've got something else in April and May. But yeah, I think I could squeeze another little something to do in.
Not random MSG employees. We are talking head of marketing for Madison Square Garden was one of them. She's fairly important.
Mr. Garden, he said his name was.
Yeah, she's
both Mr. Square and Mr. Garden.
Yeah, no, she's head of marketing for MSG. She's quite a big deal.
Good on her.
So that is really interesting that if that happens, the theatre won't be there because it's going to get swallowed by the refit.
Yeah, and this is what I think. What a lot of people will say is, it'll be, they'll think, oh well, can you fill it? Well, in reality, it doesn't need to be filled in the sense of all of the setups have a different capacity. Depending on what's going on there. And we haven't really seen that we've never seen that set up for darts. So we don't know what the darts setup would be and what its capacity would be. And it will simply come down. It won't be about, I don't need to talk to Mrs. S. She's already gone to New York without me next year. She's going to New York. It's her 40th year as well. She's going to New York without me, and I might make it 1-0. So, yeah, it's we've seen all different arenas set up in all sorts of different ways. Just because it's in that main room doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to have 18,000 seats set up in it.
No,
and
you'll be able to partition it off and so on. So
you can do a lot of things in a lot of ways, and it will purely and simply come down to whether or not the books can balance and whether it's viable. Now, I don't know how much money anybody would actually want to make, and how important simply the prestige of hosting it in that arena, live on ESPN, etc., etc., etc. Like you'd probably be happy if that event washed its face, because you're doing fine everywhere else, and it's going to massively help raise the profile of the sport. So I would be happy probably losing a bit there.
Yeah, look, it's the most incredible and simply the most iconic postcode darts goes to. But everyone, people will go, yeah, but Ali Pali's this. Yeah, look, Ali Pali's great, but it's not Madison Square Garden.
No, it's not. Because it's not. It doesn't. The two places are. There are very, very few places, sports venues in the world that really come close. And the only time they are, and I suppose it's, some of that's because lots of iconic sports venues are iconic because they, of a particular team. Now, there are some people, and I mean, they need help, but there are some people that think Old Trafford is an iconic sporting venue rather than a shithole that's falling to bits. But really, if you're not a Man United fan, it's not particularly iconic. I think Madison Square Garden, because it's so famous within popular culture. You see it in movies, you see it all over the place. It's also, it's got this broad appeal because of how many different sports and events and things that have taken place there. Lord's is a very famous cricket ground, but if you ain't into cricket, you probably don't give a shit about Lord's. But the chances are, if you're into sport, you've probably had a passing interest in something that over the years has taken place at Madison Square Garden. It's so broad. I can't think of much else. There are very few places on earth that compare with it. Its tagline, its literal tagline that they brand themselves on the logo, on the Madison Square Garden logo. Part of that logo is the phrase "the world's most famous arena." That is, and it does exactly what it says on the tin. No one's ever complained and went, "You have to take that off." Bollocks.
Exactly that. Exactly that. No, I didn't watch out. I haven't watched any of the Brazil game. I've not got into the World Cup yet, if I'm being honest.
Well, you wouldn't.
Yeah, look,
England, Jesus,
100%. Now, the darts itself. Let's break it down. Let's do the negative first. And I'm saying this as a negative because how highly I regard these players and what they can achieve. But I was actually disappointed with the North American this year. I expected more. I expected better because I know how good they are. Do you know what I mean? Look, Adam Savada was sensational and the rightful winner. And I'm so pleased that he's taken that floor form to the stage because he is a danger. But overall, I was left wanting more from the North American this year because of how highly I regard those players.
Yeah, it's a real shame because the talent among them is huge. You know, we talk all the time about how good they are and how much we would like to see them playing on tour and all those other things, but they almost to a man didn't back it up. They I think every one of them will be left with a feeling of just that they didn't represent themselves as well as they should have. They'll all be frustrated with their performances, I think.
Yeah, look, I agree. Look, but Savada was sensational.
And don't get me wrong, it's great to win. But yeah. I just think there's a lot more there.
Oh yeah, no, I completely agree that there is so, and that's the reason we're saying that it's a negative, because we know how good they can be.
Oh, don't get me wrong. If on any other affiliate tour, like you'd be sort of giving everyone a clap and saying, "Well done, lads! Like did well there." But the mean average produced by that set of players wasn't representative of the level that they collectively play at. It wasn't.
No, look, that David Cameron averaging 81. Excalibur is miles better than that.
That's what I mean. Yeah, it's just not good enough.
Spellman, we know, has got problems at the moment, 71. Leonard Gates, 79. Jim Long, 74. Better players than that, and that's the frustrating thing.
It certainly is, I'm afraid. It's and like I said, it's only frustrating because we expect better because they are able to deliver better. You know, they are better players than that, and we see a better standard very regularly. And it's, you know, for one or two of them, you sort of half expect, you know, to not see the best of them, but almost to a man, they were a degree away from their best. A lot of them. Frustrating because I thought it could be a real, like a real marquee event. That
look, there was the Fred Kruger on debut. He was exciting. I was a little disappointed with his shirt. I wanted to come out proper with the red and black striped shirt. I thought he was going to play up big time. But look, it was nice to see him. Braden Hall, there's quite an exciting potential talent in him. He obviously made his debut on the big stage this weekend. There's an exciting player potentially within him, which I'm interested to see how that develops over time. So look, I know we've spun it as we're disappointed, but there's also positives in there as well. In fact, Savada averaging 102 on TV and stage is a massive plus for him, because that's the Savada that we know is in there, and the Reaper can do some damage.
Yes, 100%. And but I suppose we'll come back to it when we talk about the next stage of proceedings in New York. But like, he's got to keep that up. He's got to, he's got to do it. Like, yes, great, brilliant, but we know that player's there. Like, we know that player's there. We've seen him play like that on the floor. It's got to keep translating. It doesn't do to do it once or twice. Like, you got to keep it up. You got to do it when it matters. You don't need 102 average if your opponent's averaging 80. You need one if your opponent's averaging 101. Like, that's when you need your 102 average. So you've got to time that right. You've got to do it when you're up against it. You've got to do it when you're against players that are famous. You've got to do it when the crowd's up against you. There's lots of things that these guys need to get used to doing. But yeah, like, it's almost a compliment that I'm disappointed. Like, and I mean it as that. Like, the reason I am disappointed is because the North American players are of such a higher standard on average than what we saw. Like I said, the mean average that those players are collectively capable of producing, like, we didn't get near that. And I'm not, again, you don't expect everybody to turn up and play their A game, but if we could have got 4 or 5 of them finding their B game, that would have made for a better showcase of what they offer.
Now, off the back of, we'll stay on the North American guys. Off the back of Jim Long beating Josh Rock on the Thursday night, he gave quite a telling interview where he was asked about if he were to win the North American, it would give him a world spot, a slam spot, and give him a chance at keeping his card. And I thought his response was really, really interesting. The fact that he said, if I lose my card, categorically, I am not going back to Q school. And if I do manage to keep my card, I will turn it back in because I can't do it anymore. Now, this is a growing issue. Now, he didn't mention finances, but we'll come on to that as well, where he was more to the point where he's only spent 30 days at home in Canada since February. It's more the traveling for him is the issue. Now, I don't think we're in a place yet where we could go and stick a block of Pro Tours in North America or Australia or the Philippines. We don't have enough tour card holders from those regions to warrant it at the moment, I don't think.
You could, as long as you paid for everybody to get there and squared their digs up.
Yeah, but that's not going to happen.
That's what I mean. You can put them on the moon if you're going to facilitate getting everybody there. The problem is, if you run a pro tour in Asia and 60% of your professional tour can't get the time off their main job to go, then you're in bother, aren't you? Like, you're up against it. But it's difficult, isn't it? Because, like, I understand that, you know, if I was away from home for all but 30 days a year, I think I'd be sick as well. Like, I wouldn't be happy. However, I mean, that is what darts is. If you are from North America and you want to play on the PDC, like, darts hasn't grown in that region to the point where he can have the opportunities, play in the amount of tournaments and ranking events without him being there. And I sort of get Warren's point in there that, you know, the schedule isn't a shock to him. It's not all of a sudden we've changed things up and, you know, you need to be, there's not like we've added loads of events over here. Like, this is how it is. I don't agree with the way it worked. Like, we'll come to it, Eng, because, like, I've been banging the drum for years for some sort of financial facilitation, whether that be first round losers money, or if you don't want to do first round losers money, like I've always said that, like, my argument has always been like you could wash your hands of it all if you just said that a tour card came with 10 grand. Like when you get a tour card, you win 10 grand. And that 10 grand is to fund your first year's travel and hotels. And then you don't have to worry, then you don't have to worry about people moaning about it. You can just wash your hands of it and say you give them all 10 grand. If you don't relocate and you try and go backwards and forwards, it's very easy to see how it's completely impractical. Like completely impractical. I spend half my time, as you know, like backwards and forwards between the Northeast and the Northwest. That's impractical. That's a ball ache. Never mind bouncing around from continent to continent. But unless the sport develops to a point where when people professionalize, and when I say that, I mean they get a pro tour card, there is a structure that could support somebody financially to justify a relocation, then you're always going to get this. You're always going to find it. And you will get, there will be a rare occasion where somebody rolls the dice and they're at a time in their life when they have a supportive partner, they haven't got kids, whatever the circumstances.
Well, Damon Heta is the prime example of that.
Yeah, Damon Heta is the example I was going to give.
He's the prime example, but even he says himself that him and Megan don't have any kids. They could do it. It all aligned for them to do it. But take Matt Campbell's name's been mentioned in the chat room. He's got a young family. I don't know if he's like 2 or 3 youngish kids. Now, to uproot them from Canada to the UK is a big ask on a prayer and a dream.
Man, I wouldn't do it if you wanted me to relocate to London. I'll tell you now, if somebody came to me and said, we'll double your salary, but you've got to relocate to London, I'd say absolutely fucking not. And that would be if someone came and stuck me on a guaranteed banker salary going in every month and they left me pension alone. Like, to go, like, and this is, and again, this is the madness of it, but it is what it is. Like, you're self-employed, you have no guaranteed downside at all. Like, so you aren't engaged with, you're not on a contract with your, with the tour where you're getting so much a year, you're getting this amount per tournament or anything. Like, you could potentially earn absolutely nothing. There's no downside. You are covering all of your own expenses. You're covering your own travel. You're covering your own hotels. To roll the dice. How many times have we seen, right? Johnny Clayton. At what point in Johnny Clayton's career, what had he achieved by the time, like, at the point where he packed in work, like his 40 hours a week working for the council? Like, what had he achieved at that point? Glenn Durrant.
He was a major winner before the time he packed it in altogether.
Yeah, Glenn Durrant, 3-time world champion, still working for the local housing association, like still doing their jobs. Now, if players like that have done what they've done in the game, like Johnny Clayton and Glenn Durrant, and you could list a whole raft of others, if they can't roll the dice, they haven't, there isn't that stability in professional darts to be able to give up, and with the greatest of respect to both of them, let's say middle income job. I don't think either of them are on 250 grand. They're not earning mega bucks from their day jobs. But if neither of them can walk away from their day jobs to roll the dice on darts supporting their families, then to expect someone who's nowhere near the achievements that those two have gained to move across the planet, I understand, I get it, and there will always be exceptions. There will be people who, like you say, who have the freedom and flexibility to be able to come and do it. Like, I know that a lot of the younger, like, as sort of younger Asian players have started looking a lot at coming to the UK to study, because if you come here to go to university, you can play darts over here at the same time, and you can start to get you can start to do some bits. And so there are ways around these things, and I think it's much easier if you are younger, just because you haven't got the ties and the commitments and things. But you know, without the sport, it's the wrong word. Without the promoter like supporting the professionalism, like this is the difficulty, right? If you look at loads of other sports that are run by promoters, right? Let's take boxing, for example, Phil, because there is a shed, you know, there's a bit of shared running of those sports between boxing and darts. If you were to go and say to a boxer in America that he needed, that you were going to offer him a fight in Barnsley, right? So he's going to come and fight in Barnsley, but he has to fly himself over however many weeks before. He's got to pay for his training camp. He's got to pay for his hotels and his accommodation. He's got to pay for all his meals. He's got to look after himself. And at the end of that, if he doesn't win the fight, you're not paying him. There's not many people that would bite your hands off for that opportunity, is there? And I would suggest that that's the same with an awful lot of sports that are run by, or primarily ran operationally by promoters rather than governing bodies. Is there's got to be some carrot that gets people, and darts is one of the few that doesn't really like have that, like, I don't know, that, you know, that some level of downside stability. Like, and again, we've always said, like, you know, I've used 10 grand because it's a nice round number when you get your tour card. You know, I know Mace has talked about it quite a lot, that like all you've got to do, like, no one's saying that you need to book them into the top floor of the Hilton Hotel and you need to, you know, give them a suite and you need to do this. Like, you could still you just need somebody to be able to prop themselves up in some digs for a bit and to not worry that their dream of becoming a professional sportsman will bankrupt them within 6 months.
Yeah, and look, we look at it, and for me, this is the biggest problem stopping the sport going truly global. Because, Warren, yes, the CDC do an incredible job of giving dart players pathways in North America. But those pathways have to lead to players coming over, whether that be from North America, Latin America, Asia, Australia, New Zealand. These pathways have to get players to want to come over. I've just got the Australian rankings up from the ADA, and I look at some of the players in here. Are some of these players better than players that have got tour cards? Yes. But they haven't got the commitment of leaving either family behind or costing them a lot of money to uproot. And look, I think most of us in the chat room, and certainly us here, we want the sport to be a truly global sport. In 10 years, I'd love to look at the Pro Tour Order of Merit and see players from all around the world. And I'd love to see tournaments all around the world, not just World Series events. But until the sport finds a way to be able to make players take that pathway, it's never going to be a global sport. And it could be. The potential in darts is massive. It really is. It could be so big across the world. But at the moment, it grows to a certain point, and then players in these regions come up against a brick wall.
We need to come up with some sort of scheme, Phil. You know, like years ago when we were kids and people were used to taking exchange students. And you come and get an experience. Like we need to have like an adopt someone from Q School. Like once the Q School list goes through, like the list comes out and you can like they have to play on your local darts team and they can stop in your spare room, but you get to practice with them. And like that's what we need. We need to adopt someone from Q School every year.
Yeah, 100. And how are we doing, Johnny? I forgot to say hello. But yeah, and look, Kyle did lead a very simple, easy life over here, but he came on his own where I'm sure he would have loved his family to be with him on that journey, and they weren't. They stayed home in Australia, so he could chase his dream. And look, he sent a lot of money back to him, which is unreal. Kyle was one of the best guys I'd ever met, but at the moment, in the main, these boundaries are stopping the sport in certain areas flourishing to what we want it to be. We look at the guys in New Zealand that I'd like to see come over and give it a go. The guys in Australia, certainly some of the guys in Asia, the guys in North America. Are they good enough to compete? In my opinion, yes, they are. But then they can't take that risk in the current structure is the problem.
It's working, Phil. We can run this ourselves. Man Lock Lung, we've housed him. If he gets a tour card, that's sorted. That's one ticked off. Like we can say this is how we're going to globalise darts. We're going to do adopt a tour card, adopt a new tour card holder for 2 years.
Yeah, because look, this sport could be massive. Don't get me wrong; it's already big, but it could be ginormous. It really could. But like we say, go back to that thing, and the financial implications don't add up.
Sorry. Funny that.
Especially like, when you look at it, I don't know if I'm supposed to say this, but I'm going to. Like, even to the point now where there's a new tax in Germany. Any prize money won in Germany from dart players now is subject. Let me tell you the exact percentage. 15.3%. So any prize money that the players win in Germany, whether that's a Euro Tour or a Pro Tour, you get local German tax on it now as well.
See, I have two views on that, and they're probably slightly opposite each other. The first one is I ain't got any sympathy for anybody paying 15% on their income, because, as you know, I'm paying like a ridiculous amount of tax, like absurd. But also, you can start to see why people don't fancy playing in Germany quite as much anymore, don't you?
100%.
Because their income there is still subject to their British tax obligations.
Tax as well, correct.
Not only, and it gets taxed after that. So you get 15% at source, and then you're then paying your UK tax on your 85% that you've got left over. And the problem with being a darts player is it's hard to avoid paying proper tax as well, because you're on the telly earning money.
Well, yeah, you can't say I didn't win anything when your ranking's done on money. Actually, this year you won this.
It's very difficult to stand that up to the revenue when they turn up at your hearing just with your Wikipedia page and all the tournaments you've won and what they paid out. Yeah. Challenge that. All you do is balancing your winnings against your deductibles. You're better off on PAYE.
But also, I also don't. I know a lot of people don't have them in Germany. I also, when you look at the tour, is probably 50-50 now, or certainly very close to UK and non-UK. You can't have everything in the UK because the sport doesn't grow that way. The darts is already massive in the UK. It grows by putting stuff elsewhere. and I fully behind that.
Yeah, I agree. It's like footballers mourning that they have to play an away match. Like I think I think it's like and we've had it. British players moaning about going to pro tours outside of Britain. Like one of two things: either grow up and get on with it, or earn enough money so that you don't need to go anymore. Like that's like either earn the right to choose, where you can not have to bother going over there, and it's not going to affect your ranking or your bank balance, and you can afford to sack it off. Or stop mourning, because it's like a footballer mourning about playing away games, or like, oh, we've made it into Europe, but now I've got to go all the way over there, play football in Germany. Shit, I don't fancy that. I don't play for Hartlepool then. You never have to go into Europe. Never have to go south of Birmingham if you play for Hartlepool.
Yeah, let's be honest. The PDC could only get an attendance of 5.5 million more. Technical MSG. I don't know. I think that there are certain places in North America that have big hubs and could drive big numbers. Could you take it to Arkansas and it do that? Probably not. Sorry if I've offended anyone from Arkansas. It was just something that I picked up.
No, but I think that's
if you put another event on in Chicago, Boston, Miami, LA, perhaps, they've all got big numbers. I haven't been to these places to see, but I'm just chatting to people that are involved on the ground in North America, and they think there are 5 or 6 other cities that could produce big numbers like MSG has done.
But I also think
tapping into those areas.
Yeah, if my nan had wheels, should be a bicycle. Like if you took it over there, if you took it out in New York, you might not sell as many tickets as New York. Well, that's why you have it in New York. Like if you took it, if you didn't host the World Championships at Alexandra Palace and you held it in, I don't know, that crappy arena at Bournemouth.
Whoa!
No, but you'll sell it out. What? You'll sell out what? How many sessions? Because you're not selling that out on a Tuesday night. You're not selling it, like, you can't sell that every. No, like you put it in the place that you are going to sell the most tickets, like that. That surely is the obvious. That's the most obvious thing. It's why we don't host darts events and boxing matches in the Highlands of Scotland, where there's no travel infrastructure and you can't get anywhere. Like Hartlepool.
Chat room, I'm interested to get your point on this. And Dan, like, going back to the financial issues before we actually look at the darts again.
Sure, we'll get to that.
What would you change right now, going into Q School next year? What would you implement to try and entice players from around the world to roll the dice? Right now,
10 grand per tour card. How many tour cards do we give out? Remind me.
Normally somewhere between 26 and 32, depending on how many you're going to lose. But normally max. Somewhere in that region.
Yeah, 32 max. Let's say it's 30. So 300 grand, right? £300,000 investment into. But when you think of the potential injection of quality and sustainability of your pro tour, like, you can release so many people from other burdens to be able to commit more to darts, that the standard would go up without question, without a shadow of a doubt. The standard would increase. Now, you can do 500, you can do losers money, you can do first round losers money, but I know that that's not a narrative that people enjoy. Certain people, as they say, well, you shouldn't earn anything if you haven't won anything. It's prize money. You shouldn't get paid to lose. Fine. Like, and the way around that, like, I genuinely think the way around that is every time somebody gets a tour card, you give them 10 grand. And I genuinely think that is the way, because you never have to talk about it again. Because you then, if after 18 months, right, people are moaning this, and I'm still having to work full time and I can't do this and I can't do that, that's because you're not good enough at darts to keep your card. Like, that's because you are not good at darts. You're not good enough at darts to keep your card. Like, if you've come from abroad, if you've come over here, you've had that injection, you have had that opportunity. Like, you've been able to get here. You've been financially supported. You can put yourself into digs. You can get to your events. I don't think the scholarship system for overseas players is a great idea. I would literally do it as a 10 grand. You win 10 grand when you get 10 grand when you win a tour card. If you can't make it last and you can't earn enough money to top it up, then you aren't good enough at darts and you can't stick around. I would introduce some form of scholarship scheme from the development tour, because that's what it is. If you're going to graduate from the development tour into the pro tour, and you're going to win a card through that route. Now, if we didn't have players tied to manufacturing deals from the womb, as it seems that's where we're getting to at this point, is that like we're going to be signing toddlers up to manufacturing deals, then it would be a cracking sponsorship place, to win a Win More scholarship or a Target scholarship or whatever, that your seat at the top of the table would be covered by the first year or two. But we'll never get that because everyone's got their deals done 10 years before that now. But
Johnny, what you do is that if with that 10K, you have to play in a minimum amount of tournaments, and you would make that very high for the first 2 years.
And release it over time. Like say that you get £2,000 every 2 months. You get £2,000 up front, and every 2 months you get your next top up, if you like, to support you attending the next round. And you've got to play a certain number of events. I think that you've got to find a way to allow people to take the risk, and for a sport to be growing and getting better and the level to be increasing, you just can't have the future of your sport depending on how much time people can get off their real job and whether or not people can afford, if you have the next Luke Littler, you are relying on their family stumping up the money to get them where they need to be, to travel across the country, to take them to events, to pay for hotels, you are relying on a person's family to be able to support that and work hard enough to do it, and be able to work hard enough to do it in between traveling around the country to get them to all the events that they need to go to. And yes, I know that there are people that will be signed to management companies and all these other things, but if your answer is managers and people signing kids up to contracts and all that sort of thing, then I'm not sure that's the mindset we should all be working towards. It should be sustainable.
So for 2025, profit for the financial year, £16,141,000.
Couldn't afford the pay cut. No, but so when I say 10 grand a tour card, let's be honest, right? That for me shouldn't be a long protracted back and forth conversation across several board meetings. That I have conversations at work a lot about sums of money much bigger than that, and common sense prevails a lot. I can't see a coherent argument against 10 grand for a tour card released periodically with an attendance threshold I don't understand. I don't know what the argument against. I'd love to hear the argument against, like the counter.
No, I agree. I think
I don't
it
know what it
is.
is. And normally, no, often, even when I disagree with something, I can understand what the argument. Like, I understand the point they'll make, but I don't know what the counter is to that. I don't know what.
I think it's. I don't see an argument or hear an argument against it.
And again, I think every time, every time that you get there's loads and loads of really sort of quick ways to solve any objections. Like, I get people, like, I completely get Johnny's point, who I think has made the best point against it. Not against it, but like the best comment on the side of it is that, well, how do you not turn Q School into just a tournament there, a tournament for 10 grand? Well, yeah, you release it over time. And because you literally think, right, you take some averages and you say, well, how many Pro Tours have we got over a period of time? And realistically, what's that going to look like? And I know that people are flying all around the world, but let's say you attach an arbitrary fee of, like, you say 300 quid a flight. You just use sort of round numbers and you think, right, 300 quid for a flight or this or that, and a couple of nights hotel, averages out of this. Right, so every X amount of Pro Tour events will release so much of the 10 grand. And we'll do that as long as you're attending 80% of them. Or even 75% of them. Is I think fine. And again, and the amount of people that I think would then be playing with less pressure. Like, we know people that have had tour cards, like, and it's fucking tortured them, Phil.
Oh, 100%.
Like, it's torture, like, getting from A to B, the hotels, the travel. And we've also seen people not preparing properly because of their, let's say, not cutting corners, but like doing things on the cheap, like not traveling to an event the night before in order to save the hotel money for the night before, and getting up at 4 o'clock in the morning and traveling down on the morning and then playing an event, having been up since 4 o'clock in the morning, not had a proper night's sleep, etc., etc.
Or going out on the piss after they've lost. Let's have it right.
These things happen. We shouldn't be asking for receipts for that 10 grand either, because some of it might go in the alehouse. I'd suspect some of that 10 grand would go over a few bars. There will be a few publicans rubbing their hands at every tour card holder getting 10 grand. But I think that's, I say that that's the solution. That's the solution that I've got, really, without, kicking it around with grown-ups too much and talking through the finer. If someone said to me, quick, solve that in the next 10 minutes, that'd be my plan.
Yeah, look, and I'd love to sit down and have a proper conversation about this, because not just with us, but with like Mace, Nico, and so on. I think it would be really, really enlightening. Warren, I don't see that as a disadvantage, because whenever you make a change, whether that's a change to Q School, a change to the ranking system, a change to this, like, take this year, for example, this is the first year of the prize money going up. So people that are defending money from 2 years ago are at a disadvantage, technically.
Yeah.
Whenever you make a change to the system, there's always going to be people that are at a disadvantage. That's just the way it is. But we're looking at things that long term make it better.
Yeah, most importantly, they went to Q School knowing that things were as they are now. Like, they made that decision to go to Q School. And I would say that the people that really would be disadvantaged is people that in previous years chose to not go to Q School because that support wasn't there and wasn't, so I wouldn't worry about that, because they can all come again and, to a degree. But yeah, you're always going to have to have year one from whenever you change anything, aren't you? And with that, everyone that's on the tour at the minute, they knew what they were signing up for. I think then you wouldn't have to go too deep. That, Jimmy mentions, offering tour cards to people who've proven that they can they can back it up regularly on a tour, from the CDC, from PDC Asia. And again, if you can go, we know that somebody might win it and you might go to them and say, there you go, you've won a tour card. And number one might not say, yes, please. But you maybe wouldn't have to go very far down the rankings if you've got your 10 grand check in your hand. If you've got your 10 grand check in your hand, you maybe don't have to go as far down the rankings to find somebody willing to say yes to you, as you might do currently if you implemented that. I think that the best way, and we have seen this, this is backed up by years of evidence and statistics, is that people who win and earn their tour cards by playing lots and lots of competitive darts over a long period of time and earning it through that method, whether it's Challenge Tour, Dev Tour, whatever that is, and that will be the same on the affiliate tours, they perform better on the Pro Tour in general than players that have 2 or 3 good days at Q School and pick one up, because we've had some real rogue selections. No, I wouldn't give them to 128 tour card holders. I'd give them to the 30 that get one.
The new tour card holders.
I'm not giving Luke Littler 10 grand to pay for Premier Inns. That's where it does become absurd, and you then try and make it fair and silly. It would simply be however many tour card holders each year, that would be what will be going out. So if there's 27 new tour card holders, there's 270 grand.
Bearing in mind that Q School generates about £400,000 as well.
Well, that's all. Yeah, that's
every year. Q School generates about 400k.
Yeah, but again, that's what. It couldn't be simpler for me. It's almost frustratingly simple.
How are we doing, that darts guy? Hope you're well. I like the top 1 or top 2 on the affiliate tour order of merit winning a tour card.
Yeah, and the only issue you've got there, that's always because, like I say, sustainability on your tour, players that can come in and hit the ground running. When you see somebody play exceptionally well for an entire year on the Challenge Tour, it is very, very, very rare, if ever, that all of a sudden they get into the Pro Tour and don't earn any money, because they're really, really good. They've been playing Pro Tour events all year anyway as a top-up. They're used to that environment. The problems occur when you get some rogue one. We've been here, bless them, on the Pro Q School stream, where I probably more than anybody else, I'm texting everybody in the WhatsApp group going, who on earth is this? Who on earth is this? And then somebody messages and says, oh yeah, he plays for Cleveland B county team or something, and now, oh great, he's got a card. Smashing. They generally don't perform as well, oddly enough, on the tour. So the more tour cards that I think you can hand out, you've also, again, in terms of allowing people opportunities to earn money and sort of cover that, is if you are bringing them from those environments, they are proven floor tournament earners, so they are risking less, arguably.
Or again, Marcus, this one as well, that if you give tour cards as prizes for topping affiliate tour order of merit, that gives them longer to sort their visa out as well.
Correct. And every other thing, if you've got to emigrate and you've got 3 weeks to do it, or you've got 3 months to do it, I know what is easier. I know, it's frustratingly simple, isn't it? They prepare, like Marcus says, they prepare better. Everything is less rushed and hurried and desperate, quick shit. Need a travel lodge in Bolton.
Yeah, look, 100%. The actual darts in MSG was very much headlined by Luke and Luke.
It's a change, isn't it?
Showing why they are 1 and 2 in the world, why they are the best 2 players in the world.
Everybody else was invited to beat them.
Yeah, look, we'll just do what we do. If someone can beat us, then crack on, so to speak.
It's not like they're not letting everyone else in. They all got to go. Just couldn't do it.
Yeah. Real improvement signs from Gian van Veen as well this weekend. He seems to be just beginning to get back to the form he was in before the kidney stones, which is good, which is nice to see.
Who he was playing. Once he figured that out, that was quite funny. Yeah, he looked absolutely superb against Johnny Clayton. He looked decent. He looked good against Luke Humphries. He only pushed Luke all the way, but he was glorious against Johnny Clayton. Really, really impressive. And yeah, the more that it's a good time that obviously he's very highly ranked. There's lots of money on the table coming in to the match play, and he'll want to kick on. He hasn't been able to really recreate that form that took him. I know that he had the issue with the kidney stones, but he hasn't recreated the form that took him to that World's final. Yeah, he hasn't managed.
Also, James Wade is going to be very hard to beat at the World Match Play. There are signs that it's going to take a special performance to beat James Wade.
And I tell you what, he was only defeated by Luke Littler when Luke Littler put on what I'm going to call a wading masterclass. As he's managed to Luke Littler threw a 97 average against an over 100 average to win 7-4. That's a very James Wade performance from
prime wading.
Yeah, honestly, it literally is. James Wade was outwaded by Luke Littler, but yeah, I mean, he looked superb. He looked steady against Adam Savada, but I thought the Gezi Price win was superb. Obviously, a couple of 2 ton plus averages back to back from James. I don't think that he will really be hurt by the loss to Luke Littler. I don't think he'll have to dust himself off from that. I think he will have gained a lot more in that win over Gezi. And I'm a big James Wade fan. I'm looking forward to James Wade at the match play. I can't wait. I think he's going to absolutely tear it up again, and I'm here for it.
What did we think of all the US themed shirts? I'm going to let you say your bit, and then I can't unsee one of the shirts that no one else has noticed yet, but I can't unsee it.
I'm not. It's fine. It's pandering a bit, innit? I think it's I mean, fucking hell, right? Do they not have enough flags waving about over there? Like, I'd like to think I'm a fairly well-travelled man, and there isn't a country in the world, he says with the Union Jack guitar over that side of them, but there isn't a country in the world that likes to have their flag flying around as much as those lads over there. And do we all really need to participate? Do we all need to go dressed as Uncle Sam? I don't know. It's fine. It doesn't offend me at all.
Liked it.
All I would say is, like, if you're going to do that, make sure you've got them on sale. Like, don't miss the opportunity. Like, what is the point in dressing like a tit? And some of them I thought were a bit garish. But if you're not going to get it, if there's not a few quid in it for you, like, again, like, we've seen all sorts of stuff. Like I said to you the other week, I was sending you some pictures because I took the kids to a wrestling show, and we were like, and when you go there, and the merchandise stand looks very similar to the one at a darts event, but you will not see anybody on that show all night wearing a shirt that you can't buy. Like, if you see a shirt, you can buy it. And then you can buy it in 6 different colours and 6 different shapes and everything like that. I think it's a great idea if you're flogging them. If you're just wearing it to pander to the audience, like, I'd rather they wore their own shirts and represented themselves. But if you're gonna wear something because you've got a bloke out the front making 20 quid a spot, then good on you, and make hay while the sun shines, as they say.
I loved the Alex Spellman shirt. I thought that was right up there. I thought Luke Humphries was very, very nice and subtle. Big fan of Gezzy's. Jan's as well. But I can't unsee the mistake in Johnny's shirt.
Go on. What have I missed?
So, right now, can you see, right? Can you all see that there? There's the skyscrapers on the front, yeah?
Yes. Oh, don't tell me what I think you're going to fucking tell me.
Now, whoever designed it didn't flip it. So on his arms, the skyscrapers are upside down.
Oh, well, that's fine. I didn't think that's what you were going to tell me then. I thought you were going to tell me.
I can't unsee the upside down skyscrapers.
No, you started. I thought you were going in a completely different direction. I was going to dig out a total own goal. I can cope with that. It's just the material spinning around. No, like I think and I think most importantly, what I don't get, I think for the American guys, like, it's a great opportunity. Yes, great, celebrate it. I don't know why the Dutch bloke goes on there wearing an American flag. I don't know. I don't think I would. I think I'd be more inclined. I'd be more inclined to go out kitted up looking like that if I was playing somewhere like, I'm there to representing where I might be where you come from, but I'm representing where I come from. So I think it's a bit sort of pandering a bit, but like I say, if you can get them sold out the front, then by all means, wear pink with pink with yellow spots. Go out there as Mr. Blobby if you can make a shilling out of it.
Yes, Mr. Spellman is in the chat room. How we doing, buddy? Good to have you in. Nice to catch up with you in New York, buddy. And yes, your American shirt looked absolutely sick. I loved it.
Yes, it does. It does on an American. So I don't understand is you got a Welsh lad and a bloke from the Netherlands wandering around draped in the stars and stripes. That's what I don't understand. And I suppose, how often when the Americans come over here to play, none of them is thinking, I better wrap myself in a Union flag, are they? I don't think that if they go to play in Germany, they're not thinking, I better get one of them kitted out. I don't think that's how it works. It's only the other way around. Baffling.
One thing I also like about MSG is that walk on through the crowd. I just think it works so well.
Yeah, well, Phil, we could. I mean, probably me and you more than anyone. We should record. I think we're going to record some specials at some point, some features. We might get some chance in a few weeks to do it, but we could do a show where me and you just conceptualize dart walk-ons. We could just talk about what we would like in an eye. We could go through every venue and we'd go.
I've already done it. I can do it for every venue now.
And this is it.
Do it for every venue now.
The rest of the show off, wouldn't we? We need to do a special like that. We'll stick it behind a paywall. We'll do it. That's why we need a Patreon, is for things like that. Is that we can drip people a 1 hour, especially me and you talking about how we'd send people in on zip lines from the ceiling.
Oh, starting at the Masters, the walk-on comes from the balcony. You have a ramp down the balcony and down in.
See, this is what I'm here for. This is what we need. We need to put this
I've already sorted that bit out.
This is going behind a paywall. We can't give this away for free. It's gorgeous. This is good stuff. This is finally doing something important.
Let's just say, right, we're playing fantasy darts here, right? Let's just say by some miracle I qualify for the UK Open. I know it's never going to happen, but just go with me, right? And they put me on the main stage. Do you want to know where my walk-on would start?
Oh, you're not. Can I? Can I have a guess?
Yeah.
I know you. I know some of your. It's a shame I haven't got my NWO t-shirt on this week. Is it knocking on the? Is it knocking on the dressing room? Are you Goldberging?
Not quite. It's
I
them.
thought,
But
I thought you were going to do a
is,
quick knock on the door and out it comes.
it is the proper Shield. You know the grandstand at the back?
Yeah.
I'm coming down those up the stairs they walk on, and then walking down. I'm going full Shield.
Yeah, I know. I genuinely, I truly believe there is so much. I tell you, I liked. Was it? Wasn't Bahrain? Where did we see the? Was it Saudi?
Saudi, where they walk through the rings.
Yeah. And do you know what? I loved it because it was different. The thing that I've always said it, and I will never stop saying it until it changes, because it's such it's like a core belief, right? When you are in event, and if you've only seen darts on the telly and you've never been there, you've never seen this, right? But in other sports, you hear an announcement, you hear the music, and then you see the person. What happens is, if Luke Littler is playing Luke Humphries in a final, right? Let's say Luke Humphries has come out first, right? Luke Humphries comes out, and because if you think, right, if you've watched it only on the telly, darts walk-ons, the only way to get to the end of them is to walk up where you're gonna walk down. So
Correct.
the whole room sees Luke Humphries come out, walk to the back. We're probably at an advert break at this point, or we're probably, we're up at the studio, and then everyone cheers, everyone enjoys, everyone has that feeling of, oh, it's Luke Humphries. And that you only get one pop. Like, you only get one go at, and then it's out. And they've already wasted it. Like, do you remember? I can't remember what that TV show is where they've wasted. Big Daddy. Do you remember with Adam Sandler? They wasted the good surprise on him. Do you remember? Like, that's what it's like. It's like,
Yeah.
You've wasted the pop. And then, so then his music plays, and he's walking on. And it's when he gets to the front and he's walking up the steps and shaking hands with everybody, Luke Littler is walking away down the walk on, then he's going to come back up, and everyone in the room's gone, oh, it's Luke Littler, and all the kids have gone, and everyone's had that, and then the music starts, everyone's singing along and they're happy. But for me, you lose so much from the potential atmosphere and that lift.
I agree
that you've got to hear the song or hear the announcement, and there's got to be a moment when everybody in the room sees that person, and it's got to be the moment you want. It can't be you sneaking them quietly to the back to stand in a spot that you can then put their music on. Like, it don't get me wrong, we've seen some of these and it's amazing, there's some great walk-ons, but like, for me, there's got to be a way, and we know, like I said, we could talk for hours about how you do it in every venue, and as these players are becoming more and more and more, what you could term as superstars, they're big deals. Like, you want to see that pop in the room.
100%.
How good is that? When you're sat there and you're waiting, and it goes quiet, and the lights go down, and you don't. And I wouldn't announce which order people were coming out. I wouldn't announce who's coming first. I would just play the song. Like, we've seen so many times, right, that, like, we talked about Nathan Aspinall and his walk-on and why he gets booked for things and why he goes places and why everybody likes to see him there. And a lot of people talk about the walk-on. But I think that's bigger and better. And Nathan Aspinall becomes more of a star if you dim the lights, everything goes silent, and you don't know which player is going to come in out. And then Mr. Brightside comes on, and then Nathan appears. That's got to be the best, right? And that's got to be the best way to do it. It has to be.
I'm with you. I'm like, again, I'm going back to wrestling, I know, but if anyone watched King of the Ring, Night of Champions this week, the walk-ons in Saudi were insane. Like, literally, and I know that Saudi have got an endless pot of money to do all the massive video walls. I get that, but the walk-ons were absolutely crazy in Riyadh this weekend. It was Dusseldorf, the one with the stairs on the Euro Tour.
I've been to regional boxing shows, right, Phil? Regional boxing shows on tin pot budgets, and the walk-on offers more in terms of a feeling and a pop and than what we see at the dance. And it's just because the person's already there. You're introduced. You have a room full of people reacting to someone who they've already seen, and you've lost the big surprise. Like in Big Daddy, you've lost the big surprise.
Players have got their own colours as well. Like, you could do Littler and MVG. The lights go down, and then you have purple or green lasers hit because they're synonymous with that player and things like that.
Yeah.
Chizzy could have yellow. Well, he's got to get on TV first, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, of course you can. I'd be careful putting blue lights on in a darts venue. If anyone's on blue, that could be showing fucking all sorts in there, especially in my net. Jesus Christ! Oh, Blackpool. God, imagine if you wouldn't put a blue light in Blackpool. My God.
Yeah.
Again,
yeah.
We say a lot. We say a lot how the production of darts is progressing and improving. And if you watch, if you watch darts production now and compare it with 10 years ago, like, you will see a vast improvement of everything from commentary to camera work to all the little promos that you see in between, all the video content, all, if you like, the non-darts content, the really nice stuff where we get like Polly and Abby and Dan interviewing people and going different places and having a chat with them. That's better than it's ever been, and it's improving all the time. If you watch darts walk-ons now and you watch darts walk-ons 10 years ago, the only difference is that some of the players will look older. Like, if you go and look at a walk-on and the same players walk on, 10 years ago, it's the same stuff. Just think it can do more, and that's all. We just want it to be as big and as cool and as bold as it possibly can be. And like I say,
100%.
I've been at pony boxing events, like, where they've managed to do a really good walk on and make the crowd feel like, because what you're doing as well is you are telling the crowd, like, this is important, this person is important. Like, that's what you are you're communicating that. That's, and the crowd don't need telling that Michael Van Gerwen is important. They don't need telling that Luke Littler and Luke Humphries are important. So what you can then do is you can take advantage of the fact that the crowd will just be over the moon to see them, right? So you have this big green lights everywhere. Oh, it's Michael Van Gerwen, yes! Like, you get that. But then at the same time, you might have, let's say it's at the Palace. Like, you got 3 other games on in that session. Like, it's a world championship. Well, first of all, at the World Championships, why do the walk-ons look exactly the same as every other event? Why they're not special? Why they're not different? Like, that's one thing. And why am I not being told as a viewer, like, this is special? And then we look at some of the players that we see at the World Championships, and we see some of them falling over themselves to entertain the crowd, to make themselves be remembered, dancing and jumping and doing all these things. But, like, let's be told, let's feel that this is important. This is an important person that you're presenting to us.
No, 100.
I'd offer myself out as a consultant, free of charge, to consult on walk-ons.
Before we box off New York, just a couple of bits. Wu Hop review. We did go to the greatest Chinese that I've ever been to, and it is still absolutely incredible. I add it to Mrs. S's bucket list. Wu Hop in Chinatown.
NYC. Do you know what's upsetting to you, Phil? And this is why I'm going to criticize you here, right? So if you go somewhere good and you have a good meal, like if you go to Truth Barbecue in Texas, get a T-shirt. Because when I go on the Woo Hop website, the first thing it says is get a T-shirt. Where's your Woo Hop T-shirt?
The dumplings, unbelievable. Shrimp fried rice, absolutely amazing. Literally the best Chinese I've ever had.
The website's amazing. Opened in 1938. Oh, it's like family run as well.
Yeah, honestly, it's dirty. From the outside, it looks dirty and grimy, but the food is just different gear.
If anyone's over there, Mike, who owns it, tell him he's welcome on the live lounge anytime. As long as he shares his recipes, he can come on and have a chat about Chinese cooking.
Yeah, 100%. But yeah, look, all in all, New York, another huge success. And just the way they do everything, that there's more media for the players there. I thought it was a real class touch. Luke and Luke over at the ITV studio. Gezi and Stephen Bunting were somewhere else and so on. I just thought it was.
There's a lot of opportunity. It was well maximised. Like I think they got the most out of it.
Yeah. Warren, I wouldn't call it apart and Sky. Apart from Wayne, Webby, Dan, and John Park being North American. But Webby and Dan have done ITV for a long, long time. Dan did ITV before Sky. I know it made perfect sense to get JP in there being North American. But overall, Webby and Dan, I don't class as just Sky. They've been part of that for a while now. Dan was unreal. Always is. But look, just another unbelievable time in the greatest city in the world, and roll on next year. And I'm hopeful with the ESPN deal and so on that we may get a North American doubleheader like we get in Australia and New Zealand. I'm hopeful.
Hang on. Sure, my passport was around here somewhere. Just checking it was. It'll still be in date.
But I just think the World Series needs a rejig. For me, Copenhagen doesn't need one anymore. Put a Euro Tour there, and just rejig the others slightly. For me,
yeah. This isn't news to anyone that I have a view of it. I like it. I enjoy it. I think it's always fun and good. I like watching darts. I like watching darts that's held in interesting venues and seeing, people get the chance to see it. So, yeah, it's great. Don't get too stressed about it. It's an exhibition. But because of that, it can change and move all the time. Like, nothing's in concrete. Nothing has to be the same. It can be changed. You can move the final around. You could have the final in America. You could do it. You could do one in Canada. You could go all over.
Yeah, no, 100%.
I know all of the reasons why things are the way that they are, but the world changes, doesn't it? So
yeah, completely.
Continue to develop and change.
Look, all eyes now are on the match play, and look, Wessel's done himself a massive favour getting himself out of that 15th, 16th spot.
He certainly has.
I don't think there's any changes. I think those 32 players will remain those 32 players, personally.
I agree, But I think there's a number of those Pro Tour Order of Merit qualifiers that have a lot to worry about. Like
right now, if you're asking me, out of those 16 qualifiers, for me, there's only one absolute avoid, which is Rob Cross.
It is at the minute, yeah.
And there's a couple where I go, if they play well, they could cause an upset, but they have to play well.
Yeah, there's a couple.
Kevin Doots, Luke Woodhouse, Andrew Gilding, perhaps.
I had Ratajski. I had so the ones I was going to rattle off is like, you know, if they turn up, they'll give you a fright potentially. Like Woodhouse, Doots, and Ratajski. If they pick up a Danny Nopper, a Ryan Searle, a Ross Smith, even a Nathan Aspinall, perhaps, you know, then you could have a real game on your hands. Neil Zonneveld, I think, is a real wild card. Like we've seen him do real damage to massive players on the telly, but he could turn up and throw a stinker, or he could turn up and average 104. Yeah. I think beyond that, it's the slim pickings in terms of form. Like they're going to have to really play in a way that we've not seen from some of them for quite some time.
I don't see the Seeds in any danger, personally. Like
no, I agree.
I think 14 get through at least. Don't get me wrong. There is some exceptional ties in round 2. See, Warren, I think the other way with William O'Connor. I think playing on that stage for the first time, you go the other way. Even Luke Littler did. I remember when he went there on debut and he lost to Van Gerwen. No, he didn't play badly, but even he said, I got nervous for the first time. I think that wonderful Winter Garden stage does funny things to you on debut.
Yeah. I don't know. I think he'd be well supported. I think so. The thing with the match play is, you know, it doesn't work out like a Premier League night, you know, where you've got your big favourites depending on where you are geographically. I know there are people that are a bit, you know, they generally carry a following, but it's the home of the darts purist, isn't it? You know, it's the people that just love darts, and I think that the general darts fan will probably get behind Willie O'Connor, depending on who he's playing. But, you know, if he's not playing, and I mean this, you know, if he's not playing, you know, a fan favourite, if he's playing one of the European lads, if he's playing somebody like a Nopper or somebody like, then I think he could carry some of the crowd with him. Are you going this year, Warren? And I regularly bump into Warren. He travels for darts nearly as much as I do, but I often bump into Warren in Blackpool for I might have to have a quick half if you're there.
Out of the Seeds, who are you worried about most of all? We talked about the non-Seeds. Out of the Seeds, who are you worried about most of all?
Well, do you mean who's? I suppose I'll answer that in two different ways, which is fine because we've still got 20 minutes left. I am most worried about the player that has the biggest potential to underperform significantly beneath their capabilities is Michael van Gerwen, because Michael van Gerwen could win it or go out in the first round, and I feel like those two things are just as likely to happen depending on who he draws. If Michael van Gerwen gets drawn against Rob Cross, Luke Woodhouse, Kevin Doots, like someone like a Christoph Ratajski could be a nightmare opening game. Because if Michael don't turn up firing all cylinders, like we know there is a stinker in there. And I sort of the thing is, going out in the first round, like that, yes, it's a major disaster for Michael, but so is going out in the second round, arguably the third. Like, what's Michael defending? Runner-up money.
The final.
Yeah, runner-up money, isn't he? He's defending 100 grand. So he's defending 100 grand. Like, that immediately puts you on the list of people in fucking bother. Like, if you're defending 100 grand and your form is, it's not bad, but it's unpredictable, is the way I would describe it, then I think you are more at risk than a lot of the others. Because you could look at the others and say, right, Danny Noppert goes out first round. Yeah, could happen depending on the draw. But what? So what? And I'm in the kindest possible way, they're like, no, so what? It's not a big story, is it? You know, Rob Cross beats Danny Noppert. Not a big story. Dirk van Dijvenbode beats Danny Noppert. Not a big story. Cam Menzies beats Nathan Aspinall. Slightly bigger story. Not a monster story. Michael van Gerwen, defending winning money, goes out in round 1 or round 2. That's the big risk.
The one
People more likely to lose. He's got more to lose.
The one I'm concerned about is Gary, because I don't think he's played enough. I think he might go there very undercooked unless he goes to the next 2 Pro Tours and the European before the match play. If he plays in all of them, I might feel a little bit better. But right now, I think there's a concern that he's undercooked.
But the last couple of years, this hasn't been a happy hunting ground for Gary, has it? You know, what is it like? I haven't got it in front of me, but is it first round and second round? I think, was it second round last year, the first round the year before, or something like that?
Something like that, yeah.
So
he lost to Stephen Bunting round 2 last year. Michael Smith round 1 the year before.
Now, they're not, they're not sort of terribly surprising losses. Like, they're not. Like, he could win those games, but it's not a surprise that he loses them. Again, depending on the draw, last year he beat Luke Woodhouse in the first round. So we could see a repeat of that. But if Luke Woodhouse gets one back on him and it goes the other way, like, I don't know. It's fairly likely to happen. But the last 5 years, so the last 5 visits to Blackpool for Gary Anderson have been second round, first round, second round, first round, second round. Like, he has altered. Like, if the pattern continue, he's in a very established pattern now at the match play, which tells me he's going out in the first round, because that's what he's just alternating round 1 and round 2 for 5 years. So
which goes back to this time of year where he can't be asked and he's not put the effort in.
Yeah.
So
and then he gets himself sorted out at the Grand Prix. That's what he does. Then he sorts himself out for the Grand Prix.
So if MVG were to lose in round number 1, by my calculations, he would drop instantly to world number 8. But that would depend on whether Josh Rock and Stephen Bunting win their first round games. So
yeah, if Rock and Bunting win their first round games, and not quite Danny Noppert. Danny Noppert would have to win.
So he could go to world number 9. May go number 8, but could go number 9. If he loses first round.
It's a long way, isn't it? It's a long way.
But instantly, and this shows how much the prize money's gone up in 2 years. Runner-up, 25 grand more than 2 years ago.
Oh, yeah. Isn't it just?
25k more.
I fear that he could really be fighting for a top 16 place by the end of the year. He's got to make a final. He has to make a final. And if he doesn't make a final, like I look at the players that I look at what he's defending and the players that are just going to fly past him. And if he's not in the final or semi-finals, then other players are going to be, other players are going to be there picking money up. And I think he's like top 16 is like, that's my worry, is that he ends up scrapping around 13, 14, 15.
So on the tour card race, he's provisionally 20.
Yeah, he won't drop that far.
But he's only 47k off of the top 16.
Yeah, he won't drop that far. He won't.
That's one run. Look, I still think MVG can win something this year. I genuinely do. I'm not saying he will, but I think he can.
Yeah, it's just so unpredictable, isn't it? Like it's so difficult to think about what he may or may not do because we just don't know. Like I say, he could turn up and win something and destroy everyone and average 107, and he could make the Lukes look like amateurs, or he could turn up and he could have his ass served to him by one of the qualifiers, one of the order of merit qualifiers that's done now all year, because they might be able to find 100%. A bit of form on the day that he doesn't. Like it's really tough.
Oh yeah, 100%. It's a real interesting dynamic, and I think that's one of the biggest talking points that is gonna run all year is where he finishes, where he drops to, and what the damage is or isn't.
Absolutely.
I genuinely do.
I think it's a huge year for Michael. A huge year because the year, come January, the year could look very different to how his year normally looks. It could look very different.
Well, the thing is, he's going to he can't take many things off. He's going to have to play in pretty much everything in that back end of the year.
Oh yeah, and like I said, that protection afforded to the top 16 in Euro Tour events is great if you're in there. If and it's mad to even comprehend the fact that we're talking about this. It's a bit weird. If Michael van Gerwen nips outside of the top 16, even temporarily, and he's not automatically playing Euro Tour events, like, first of all, he's going to fall further behind in the money, like, without quite, because that's where the big money is made on the Pro Tour. But second of all, like, imagine the idea of him topping up, like, going to a qualifier with all the lads trying to hold on to their tour cards. And he's exactly. And it's a very humbling, maybe it's not, maybe it isn't humbling, maybe he just fucks it off. Because you go from the point where you are able, and I've always said, these lads they have made the money. Like, they can afford, they've earned the right to decide when they play and when they don't, but they don't fancy an event, they don't play in it. But now it's one thing saying, I don't fancy playing in it. It's another to say you're not fucking invited. You've got to go through a qualifier with those lads in order to turn it down. He'd probably win the qualifier just to fucking say no. But he can't. But it's going to be difficult, and that is when I think we've said better than everyone, and I know there's some things you can say and some things that you can't, and there are certain things that I think he just won't have the appetite for and he won't tolerate. And there'll be some big decisions to make, but I think those big decisions are going to come over the next certainly 2 years. Certainly 2 years.
Because, 100%.
Because he needs to decide what he wants and or needs from this sport and what he can realistically gain from it. Because there are more young players ascending to the top of this sport. And this time next year, he might not make the Dutch team at the World Cup. And again, you go from a situation where he doesn't have to play, he can say no if he don't fancy it, to all of a sudden you ain't invited anymore, mate. That's it. But by the same token, Phil, we could be sat here and I could be talking complete shit and he could be third in the world next year, pissed into everything. You just don't know with him. That's the maddest thing. You just don't know what's next.
No, I 100%. And look, I still think he cares. I genuinely believe if he didn't care, he'd have sacked it off already. I still think he cares about it. I genuinely do. Because if he didn't, I don't think he'd be there. I think he would have walked away.
Do you think he cares about... Do you think it's just a sportsman's desire to win? Do you think it's money? Do you think it's the legacy? He wants to add more world titles to the history. What do you think it is?
I think it's legacy. I think it's legacy to him. Legacy and titles still mean something to him. He doesn't like watching other people win.
Yeah.
Which is that competitor in him. If that desire, and if it didn't hurt when he sees other people winning, I don't think he'd be playing. I think he would have retired already.
He's going to start seeing his records going all, isn't he?
Yeah.
Right, we've seen that. We've seen that in lots of sports, and we've seen that with Michael. There are a lot of records that Michael held, and over time, the number of records that he holds is going down. It's reducing them. Because what's happened is Michael's not breaking them anymore, and other people are coming and breaking his records, and he's not getting them back. There was a time where Michael would exchange the breaking of records with people. They'd do this average, he'd then do that average. There'd be a bit of back and forth. At the minute, someone has a record off Michael, and he don't reclaim it.
No, exactly. But I think that desire is there, and I still think there is big titles in Michael. But he has to want it. If he doesn't, then there won't be. That desire has to come from him.
Yeah, he's at the stage now. The throw and the action is at a point where it doesn't happen on its own now, does it? He's got to work on it. He has to put the work in to get something out of the other end. He can't rely on natural talent anymore. He has to put that effort in. He has to want it, and that drive has to be there. I agree, Big Johnny. Phil will hate the fact that he can't compete now. Completely with you. Will he still be playing when he's 40? That all depends on him. When's he 40?
Was he 37? I think.
The fact that man's younger than me destroys me.
I think it is, Rob. I think if the hunger wasn't there...
Same age as my kid sister. I never knew he was that... in my head, I just have him older than that. Yeah, it's a big question, that. 40 might be about the year.
Yeah, 40 could be around the mark.
If I could pack it... I'm 40 next year. If I could pack in work at 40, I'd be happy as Larry. I tell you what, I wouldn't need a conversation twice. One conversation with a financial advisor. If they said, "Don't worry, mate, you can go at 40," that's what you'll have. I'll go. I wouldn't need telling twice. I'd be straight down the road. Ta-ra. Thanks for coming.
Should we have Should we have 5 minutes of questions? We haven't done him for a while.
Why not have a few minutes of questions before?
Let's have a few minutes of question time, then get them in. If you haven't yet, make sure you drop us a like and subscribe. Is it coming home? No.
I wouldn't have.
The only thing that's coming home is them on a plane.
Yeah, if you've watched an England match so far, then that is a silly question. I tell you what, it's a tough watching it this year. My God.
Oh, yeah, Littler breaks the £3 million mark if he wins the match play. That's some achievement.
That's a good name. Crossover fighting. Sounds like someone who can arrange my much wanted darts misfits.
Don't worry, Johnny. We'll get you on in a couple of weeks again, lad. If you want to drive up, you're more than welcome to come on the live in a couple of weeks.
Oh, we are being live in the northeast.
It's about 2 hours, 2 and a bit hours from you, I think.
Where is he? Roughly.
Leicester way.
Yeah.
Leicester way.
2 hours and one. I can door to door. It takes me, if I put the Prince of Wales in my sat nav, it's 2 hours 10 minutes.
There we go.
There's a good idea.
Actually, if I'm being honest, I didn't see any of the ADC this weekend.
I saw quite a bit of it. I thought it was pretty good, but the standard was quite good. I've also spoke to a few people that did particularly well as well. That might be along to our little show in a couple of weeks' time.
Yeah.
We might have some of them in the building. Any plans for the match play? We'll be there, Chile. We'll be there. Are you going as well? I saw Warren say he was there on the Tuesday. I will endeavour to have a swift half with him. Are you there as well?
An interesting one. Is Target Japan part of the Target Data Sale? I guess they're the same company. I don't know that factually, Wayne, but I would guess so. I guess they're under the same umbrella.
If I was buying it, I'd be making fucking sure they were. Yeah. Although before they snaffle all the tooling off onto the other company. Yeah. If
I'm interested to see where that goes and how that plays out. At the moment, it's just a lot of speculation. I'll be interested to see when something concrete comes out, how that plays out. Bobsy, if Boris wins, I'm not arguing with him. I didn't see any of it because I was flying home, so I didn't see any of it. But
I don't need to see it. If he tells me he's won, I ain't questioning it.
Yeah, if he says it's Wednesday, it's Wednesday. Yeah. I'm not arguing.
No, I don't need any investigation into that. If he says he's won, he's fucking won. Someone give him the check.
Yeah, someone give him the trophy. See you later. Oh, right. So our streaming schedule looks like this. Next Monday, Tuesday, I am definitely streaming the 2 Pro Tours. The 8th is up in the air at the moment. I'm waiting to see if I am allowed to go somewhere. So we may stream the Tour Card Holder Qualifier, or I may be somewhere else. And then we have the European Tour on the 10th, 11th, and 12th. And then the match play starts on the 18th.
Oh, it doesn't it just? Look at it there in the calendar.
The Winter Gardens is gleaming on the horizon. Blackpool Tower is twinkling.
Morning walks along the beach. Oh, man, I can't wait. I love it.
It is flirting with us all. Is there anything on this week? PDC-wise, no. But I am going to try and get something in. I will confirm on social that we are going to do a fun little stream about something. Live stream with the donkeys. If Dan wants to go for a donkey ride, I'll live stream it.
I'm going for it. Yeah, I want to try. I say every year, and what happens is we get busy. We get so busy doing the not fun stuff. Like that is sometimes our problem when we go like at the match play, is we get so busy doing the stuff that isn't fun that we don't get a chance to do the fun stuff. And every year I sort of promise that we're going to do more of the fun stuff that everybody likes. So we'll try and do some of that. I just need you to all like make sure you watch it and share it about and get it, make it justify it.
For those that know, there is a PDC event on the 8th of July that I'm hoping to go to.
Good on you. I know exactly the one.
Yeah.
I know where you're going.
Well, fingers crossed. I've asked the question.
Hoping to go anyway.
Just waiting for a yes or no. Right, you guys have absolutely rocked it today for us, as always. Remember, this will be available as an audio only in the morning from wherever you get your podcast, or you can watch back here on YouTube. But one last time, drop us a like and subscribe. You guys have been absolutely sensational. As of next week, the race for the match play is well and truly on. I've been Phil Bars, Dan Simpson. We have been on 9 Darts. We'll see you all next week. Be there.